Breaking news coming through this afternoon is that political parties must now disclose their funding. Parliament has 18 months to make those changes to the legislation. The Western Cape High Court based its decision on the constitutional right to make political choices. The ruling follows an application from non-profit organisation My Vote Counts. This is news that came in less than 15 minutes ago. It has now been confirmed that political parties must disclose their funding. Parliament has 18 months to make those changes to the needed legislation. The Western Cape High Court based its decision on the constitutional right to make political choices, and this ruling follows an application from non-profit organisation My Vote Counts. Well, joining us now on the phone line to discuss this further is MVC National Coordinator Janine Ogle. Good afternoon to you, Janine. Thank you for joining us here on ANN7. Your initial reaction now to this court ruling that's come through just moments ago, that political parties will now be needed to disclose their funding, obviously once that legislation has been amended.
I mean, we welcome the judgment, and this is what we've, as My Vote Counts, has been fighting for many years now. And it's what we've asked for in this application. So we are very pleased with the judgment as it stands.
Mm-hmm. Just talk us through why you decided, or why this organisation, My Vote Counts, decided to bring forward this application and the importance of such.
So a few years ago, we approached the Constitutional Court, asking the court to compel Parliament to enact legislation that allows for access to political party funding information, and this particularly the private funding information of political parties. At the time, Parliament argued that what MVC is actually asking for is access to information, and as Parliament, they've met their obligations by enacting the Promotion of Access to Information Act. And the judgment in that court case was that MVC should go and try to use PIA to access this information. And if we are unable to access that information through PIA, should we then challenge PIA in the High Court? We then launched this application in the Cape Town High Court last year in July. And the case was heard in August, the last month. And the judgment today is in favor of what we've asked for.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you very much, Janine, for just giving us further details with regards to this application that was brought forward by My Vote Counts. That was My Vote Counts National Coordinator Janine Ogle, just giving a comment with regards to this ruling that was made a short while ago. For further comment now, we are joined by UDM President, Mr. Bantu Holomisa, joins us on the phone line. Good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you for joining us on ANN7. UDM's reaction to the fact that political parties will now have to disclose their funding with regards to, obviously, that 18 months that Parliament has to make those changes to legislation.
The UDM welcomes this long overdue legislation process. You will recall that IDASA and other parties like UDM as early as late 90s, we have been calling for, this legislation to be put in place because we found that some business people are either aligned with ANC or DA, and the other new parties have no choice of getting money. And this exercise will help also those who are normally blackmailed when they get a tender from the government if they fund opposition parties. So we celebrate this victory and we welcome it. That would also make sure that one is not influenced by another country or by a bunch of business people for nefarious objectives.
Let's expand a little bit on the possible impact that this court ruling could have on the various political parties in South Africa. What do you think the initial impact would be? Do you think it would be mostly positive or rather negative with regards to certain political parties?
It should be welcomed by all, but I know the DA and ANC, they haven't been opposed in the past. But they would be like fools today if they were to oppose it or appeal, given noise about state capture and so on and so on. They must just agree and make and facilitate, speed up this law. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Holomisa, for your time this afternoon. We appreciate you talking to us. That was UDM President, Mr. Bantu Holomisa, joining us on the phone line, just giving us a reaction with regards to the fact that political parties must now disclose their funding. The Western Cape High Court said such information is reasonably required. We continue to get reaction through here on ANN7 this afternoon. Joining us now is NFP MP Ahmed Shaik Imam, joins us on the phone line as well. Good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining us on ANN7. Just your initial reaction now that this news has come forward, stating that political parties must disclose their funding.
Good afternoon to you and the listeners out there. The National Freedom Party welcomes the decision of the High Court in the Western Cape. And also congratulates my vote counts for this bold step that they took in going to court. We believe it is in the best interest of all South Africans that this decision that the court has now, the judgment that they have actually granted, will ensure that we have a very transparent process in South Africa. Thus far, we don't have that. And I think, like my colleague, Honorable Bantu Holomisa, has just said, it seems to favor certain individuals, especially if you are governing, be it in local, provincial, or national government. Business, it's simple principle and logic that is applied. When you give, you get. So people are only giving to get something in return. Mm-hmm. So I think what should happen is this, that if anyone, any business, any organization wants to fund political parties, it should go through a central fund in the country, which should then be distributed to political parties, because political parties serve the interest of all citizens, irrespective of which party they come from. So I think this will go a long way in ensuring that there's some kind of accountability. It will also, to a certain, put a damper on corruption, where obviously, those that are funding are expecting something in return. So I think this is really a very good decision by the High Court.
You did mention that you are of the view that it is in the best interest of all South Africans. Let's just elaborate on the issue of transparency and why this specifically is of such importance.
Well, let me tell you twofold. One, I think I want to touch on is that is the issue of corruption and where business people are using their resources to be able to get and enrich themselves. That's the first step. The second thing is this, and very importantly, there are also political parties in the country that are also being funded by certain outside sources, specifically to try and destabilize the country. So if we have a more transparent and an open process where the public is aware of where the monies are coming from, why the monies are coming, and I think that will go a long way in assisting us. That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. But there's also another issue that when we talk about political party funding, there's another very important aspect, and that is we are also funded by Parliament. And I must emphasize there is no control over this either, where funding is given to us political parties specifically for constituency work. And most of these constituency officers and staff don't exist. Again, the public is being exploited, the taxpayers' money is being abused. So I think that must also be included. So all funding for political parties, be it from government, be it from the outside, must be transparent, must be open. And the public, which is ultimately the owners of these resources in more ways than one, must be aware of what is being done with their money.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much, sir, for your time and reaction this afternoon. That was NFP MP Ahmed Shaik Imam.